Well folks, we've got a little bit of a change this time around because normally in this series you see me travelling off to a European destination and being guided in my fishing adventures abroad. This time around we've turned it completely about face and I've brought a guest over to fish with me. Now this is Ronnie de Groot. Ronnie's a well-known European angler. Actually, you're from Belgium, should mention that. Well-known in Europe for your fishing exploits. And you've come here today to fish with me, so I'm going to be the guide. Now, you caught a flight over from Brussels last night, didn't you?
Yeah, it was quite easy to come over. I think, if I'm not wrong, I left Brussels after you left your home, and I was at the airport before you were.
You were, yes.
It's a piece of cake to come over nowadays to places like this.
It's very, very easy. We've travelled to Symonds Yat, which is located in the scenic region of Monmouthshire. This beautiful area of Wales provides many opportunities to fish, as the River Wye flows for 157 miles and is the most famous of English and Welsh salmon rivers. There you go. Armchair fishing at its best, my son. What I thought I'd do is I'd bring you to a bit of quintessential English fishing. So we've got a classic English river. This is the River Wye. And it's a beautiful spot, this. It's a river full of fish. We've got some nice English countryside, beautiful English weather on it.
That's brilliant.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Pouring with rain. But hopefully in the next couple of days, which is what Ronnie's got to fish, we'll get a little bit of warm weather as well. Now, our target is going to be Barbel. My job is to act as your guide. So I'm not really going to be fishing. I'm just going to be watching you. And what we're going to try and do is fish maybe 2 different areas and fish 2 or 3 different styles, so you get a real good feel for classic British barbel fishing.
Okay.
How does that sound?
That sounds great.
All right, well, probably the best thing to do now is go and get some kit out, I think.
Okay, let's
I
go.
can see you gagging to start. Tell you what, Ron, one of the nice things about barbel fishing, you don't need all that kit. Because you're used to doing some quite long sessions, aren't you, for carp?
Normally I'm used to do that, yeah.
The most important thing that's happened in barbel fishing in this country in the last couple of years is the arrival of pellets. Now, you're probably pretty familiar with pellets, being a carp fisherman, and how devastatingly effective they are for carp.
They have caught a lot of big carp all over Europe.
Well, it's also a very, very good bait for barbel. In fact, certain pellets are almost unbeatable. Now, effectively what we need to do is fish an open-ended feeder, so we'll have a look at that in a minute because we've set your kit up. But the bait mix, first of all, we've got 2 different sizes of marine halibut pellets to put in the feeder. Mostly we'll be feeding these 6mm pellets with odd 1 or 2 larger pellets in there and a bigger pellet on the hook. And then this is the key stuff here. So we're going to make up a ground bait mix using this marine pellet ground bait.
Is there any reason why you don't use a tin one?
The tinned one?
Yeah.
It's very, very good, but what you're trying to achieve with this, Ron, is you're trying to get the mix to explode out the feeder, and the tin one's slightly too sticky.
Yeah.
We're going to mix this quite dry and fluffy so that when the feeder hits the bottom, the water will attack it and boof, it'll just explode out like a bomb. So the powdered one's much, much better. All you need to do, you don't need to mix loads in one go. I've got some river water here. It's better than tap water because obviously tap water's got things like fluoride in it and 1 or 2 chemicals. This is the stuff that the barbel are used to swimming around in. And the key thing is just get loads of air into it, give it a real good stir round like this. And what you should end up with is something now like this is about right. Now bear in mind this will dry out slightly in the next 10 minutes. It'll carry on absorbing that water, so you might need to top it up with a little bit more water when we come to fish. But that's about the consistency that you're aiming for, so that you can grab it like this, squeeze it together in one hand and it will form a ball. But if you just rub it like this, it all breaks down again. So that's the ground bait mix, Ron. We've already got your rod set up. Now, essentially, without going into too fine details, because you're pretty experienced fisherman anyway, what we're fishing with here is called an open-ended swim feeder, as you know. And that's running on the line. We've got a buffer bead here, and then we've got your hook length below. Now, you like using braid, so we're going to use a braided hook link. We've got a number 8 hook, and then a hair rig. So what we're going to do is drill a pellet out and hair rig a large pellet on the hook, and that will be our hook bait. Very important that we get into a rhythm of hitting the same place every time. So we're building up some bait in that area and we're going to bring the barbel to us. Hopefully, if you can hit the same spot, we'll start to get some fish. We might as well get on with it, mate.
Okay.
There you go.
Thanks.
We just get this pointed upwards at an angle. That should do it. We'll get your chair in here, Ron, I think. I'll just drill the pellet out first. What's that? Well, I know you know all about this, Ron. What we're going to do is plug the feeder either end. Most of the pellets I tend to put inside of these small 6mm ones, and then I'll put the odd 1 or 2 bigger pellets, 1 in per feeder load, and then just put a plug on top. I think that's pretty well ready to rock and roll. Lovely shot, perfect. That was a barbel then, and he's probably trying to get at the contents of the feeder, but you've literally got to sit on your hands and wait for the rod to really go over. Honestly, you'll know about it when you get a barbel bite.
Now, this is exciting fishing.
That's a barbel, nudging the feeder to get at what's inside, and hopefully, once it's dislodged those contents, others will come in, and then they'll find your hook bait, and then, with any luck, it's gonna go. Here we go. You got him?
Yeah, I have it.
Good man, good man. How about that, Ronnie?
That's nice, isn't it?
First cast. You know that's bad luck, don't you?
Yeah, I know that.
I always like to let them swim about a bit outside the weeded area, because if you bring them in too quickly, they've got too much energy. That's when you get problems.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to let him dog around a little bit. That's it. Nicely done, Ronnie. Just try and ease her across the weed now. Yes, well done, nice one.
Thank you.
First cast.
Not bad, isn't it?
No, that's pretty good. Yeah, there you are, Ron. I'll give you the fish, because you caught it. Nice clean white fish, Ron. Probably around about £5. Nice long fish, beautiful bronze colour on its back, pearly white belly. It's a minter, mate.
Yeah. Had a really good fighter it was.
Beautiful fight, beautiful fight.
Oh, really nice.
You imagine one of about £10 now.
Oh yeah.
That's
well,
a fight.
that's where we are after now.
Yeah, well.
You never know.
Don't get cocky.
You
don't
never
get
know.
cocky. Right, in you go, Ron. Yep. You've caught the fish. Now you've got to return it the right way.
That's the way you have to do it.
Well, when you get out there, Ron, just hold him head upstream in that gentle current. That's it. Now, just give him a few seconds so that he's nicely orientated. You can see his gills working there nicely now.
Yeah, he recovered very well.
Now, how does he feel, Ron? Is he upright or
Oh yeah.
you feeling good?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, there he goes.
Well done, mate.
Tell your mum to pass by.
Put it there.
Thank you, man.
Good work. Righto, Ron.
Yeah, that's another one.
Well, this is amazing. Second cast.
A bit heavier than the first one.
A little bit more golden, this one.
There it go.
Yeah. That looks like another nice fish, Ron. You're having a good morning, aren't you?
Top sport.
30 seconds, the feeder's been in the water, and you're into another one, Ron.
Stay there.
Too easy this is, Ronnie. Really nice spots on the way down here as well. Well, so far you've had it pretty good, really. You fished a really good barbel swim with a going method, and you've caught some nice fish, so well done.
I really did.
But now the going gets really tough, because this particular stretch of river, which is a few miles downstream, I've never actually fished this. Because it hasn't been fished, the fish are not going to be used to bait. I've got no idea about which swims are the best. And what we're going to have to do is find the fish by rolling baits around, and we're going to have to be really, really mobile. So it's going to be a completely different approach. We're going to use luncheon meat. We're going to kind of move it around the swims a bit and try and find the fish. We'll start in this swim because it does look a bit of a classic. I mean, it's a big, deep salmon pool. As you can see, it's probably 12 or 15 feet deep there. We can fish off the peninsula here. And can you see how that
the
little
current goes like
that little
then it
croy
turns a
there?
bit, yeah.
We call these creases.
Yeah.
They're like conveyor belts between slow and fast water where the food gets swept along, so the fish can sit on either side and just pick off the stuff that comes past. So it looks like a really good spot, but whether it's got any fish in it, we're going to find out. I'll get down first, bring you all the way from Belgium for a workout. Because I don't know much about these spots on the river, there's really no point in coming down here and piling a load of bait in and waiting for the fish to come to you. So the idea is to use a very instant bait that we know fish find attractive, which is luncheon meat. What Ronnie's doing is bouncing the bait round into key positions, and if there are fish there, they're going to be very much aware of that bait entering the swim straight away. And I would expect that if there's quite a few fish present in the swim, 9 times out of 10 he's going to catch a fish pretty quickly. So this is very much a searching method, a pioneering method. And what we're trying to do is track down the fish. And maybe, if we get a place where we get a few bites, we could bait it up. And so that's the general idea. Right?
I thought so.
Now I reckon, Ronnie, that's a chub. It is, isn't it?
I don't know what it
Yeah,
is.
it's a nice chub, yeah. Well, that's a good start.
It isn't bad, eh?
Yeah, good for a first cast, that, mate. See, I told you they'd lie right along that crease line.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay,
There
ready?
it is.
Well, that's a good start, mate, that is.
Not bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not a barbel, but who cares?
Well done. Well, it's nice to catch chub as well, you know,
Uh-huh.
because there could be some very, very big chub along this part of the river. And that one took a great big piece of meat, Ronnie. There he is.
It's a very nice fish.
Yeah, beautiful fish. Lovely markings.
Never been caught before.
Probably not. Probably not. Probably
Very
never
nice.
seen a hook before.
Perfect hook hold.
Yeah.
Just in the hook of the mouth.
Great big piece of meat.
Oh, yeah.
See, I told you they'd lie along that crease line.
Voila.
That's lovely, mate. Shall I give you the fish so you can
Yep.
show everybody back at home? Brilliant.
Nice, isn't it?
Lovely
Okay.
chub, that. That's a very nice start, that is.
Voila.
There he goes. Lovely weather on.
It is. If you want to catch a fish, you have to deserve it and you have to go through all of it.
You don't sound very sincere, actually, Ron, about that. There's your bite, Ron.
Yep.
You got him?
Yes, I have it.
Well, guess what you've got, Ronnie?
It must be an eel.
You've got an eel on my son, all right, and I think I'm going to have to go and free him from the
From the weight.
weed, yeah. It's an avalanche here.
I'll give you some light. That still is on.
Here he comes.
There he comes.
Now, somewhere in this mess, Ronnie, there it is.
There it is.
His old anguilla. Not a pleasant job, this, folks. There you are. Now, as soon as I grab this eel, you're going to see what happens. He's all right at the moment, but watch this. Here he goes, eel bracelet. I can just about see the hook there, Ron, so if I try and get it out.
That's where gilly's for.
It's out, it's out.
Okay.
Right, there he is. These things can live for literally hours out of water, you know. And on damp nights, Ronnie, they'll actually crawl across land,
I know.
across fields and even roads.
And they go
Anyway.
from one pool to another.
There aren't many of them left in the river now, so we'll make sure he goes back. There he goes.
Voila. So I had a barbel, I had a chub, and now I have an eel.
Yeah,
And a slimy gilly.
yeah,
What do you need more?
that's hideous.
Thanks, Matt.
Hideous. Well, yesterday Ronnie had a brilliant first day on the Y. He caught a load of barbel on the feeder on the first stretch I took him to, and then I brought him down here. Now this stretch is very different because it's not been coarse fish for many, many years. So it was real pioneering stuff, working with bits of luncheon meat, rolling them round the swims, and he came up with a nice chub and an eel, which was a bit unfortunate for me, but, you know, Ronnie seemed happy enough. And today we've come back here. Now, this is going to be difficult because overnight we've had quite a lot of rain. We had a load of rain yesterday and the river's very coloured. Ordinarily, in years gone by, this wouldn't be a problem, but these days, with so many chemicals being sprayed onto farmland, when you get a flash flood like this, you get a lot of chemicals in the water and it can put the fish down. So Ronnie's going to have to work really hard using big smelly baits today, the sort of baits that fish are going to find in this coloured water, without necessarily seeing them, but being able to sniff them out, and work his way along this river fairly methodically, trying to search these fish out. I don't think it's going to be easy for him, but I've given him a good briefing, and we'll see how he gets on. Real nice piece. I'd drop it, Ron. Similar place to yesterday. Go across. So see where that feather is? Aim for that feather. We'll go to the next swim if you don't get a bite this cast. Well, nothing in that swim down there, Ron, but don't know whether that's the conditions or there just weren't any fish in it. This is a really nice chub swim here. I've got Ronnie right down in among the nettles now, so he's going to have a few more bites and stings for his trouble. This is a very difficult swim to fish, but it's a really good one. Right, Ron? Got him?
Yeah, I have it.
Not a monster, mate.
Small chub, not my biggest fish ever.
Another small one?
Yeah.
You can tell by those little rattly bites, Ron.
You are.
They're getting smaller.
Yep.
So, Ronnie, you live just outside Brussels. How did you get into fishing?
Well, I've been fishing since I was a kid, but professionally it started, let's say, somewhere in the mid-90s. I caught a lot of big carp in those days. I was a hardcore carp angler. Caught as well the Belgian mirror as common record carp. And from those days on, I started to spread my interest for other big specimen fish.
And on what you've seen so far, would you come back here and do this?
I will do it definitely. The scenery here is great. Fishing is marvelous. So, and I've seen a few fish around here who I still haven't caught. So I like to come back.
Yeah, you've still got some more fish to catch yet, though. Now, during our visit, Ron and I stayed in Simmons Yap, and one of the things about this pub is this old ferry, which for years has ferried customers backwards and forwards across the river. It's a really good pub to visit, actually. It's a real traditional inn. The service is excellent, the food's really nice, and the accommodation's good as well. One of the things about the pub is they're pretty flexible, so fishermen who tend to keep sort of strange hours get really good service here. It's right in the middle of some of the very best fishing country, and as an added bonus, they've even got a bit of fishing here as well, so it's well worth a visit. Now this one we've got to really creep into. Good sized lump of meat this time, Ron. Little pendulum swing. Got him. Very satisfying when you get it right, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Nice
Really
bite
is.
that. Let me get the net. Just let the drag do the work, Ron. It's going to swing out into the river. Good man. Well done.
You've seen the split shot, so
Very lively fish, yeah. I'll see him now. A really fit fish, this one.
yeah, really
Beautiful.
strong one.
Lovely fight. That's the great thing about barbel fishing is the fight.
So never give up. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. She's mine.
Well done. Now you've
Thanks,
really
mate.
earned that one. That was a good piece of fishing. Good cast. Timely strike.
And my first lunch and meat barbel as
Yeah,
well.
proper one that is. Anyway, look at that.
Yeah, that's one.
That's a beautiful fish. Beautiful fins, colours, shape, everything. You've done very well there, mate.
Okay.
You've seen this with carp, just inside the lip.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time this fish has ever been caught. Okay, here she is. Now, a bit deep to go into this spot, but there's a nice current here. Whoa.
Oh, there
She really wants to go, mate.
Yeah.
That's how this should swim away anyway, so I'm happy about that. You've had a good trip, I think.
I really got a good trip. I caught a lot of barbel. I caught some chub, an eel.
Yeah, I wasn't so happy about that.
Your favorite one?
Loved it, mate. Loved every minute of it. But I think, from my point of view, you caught a load of fish on the swim feeder first.
Yes, I did.
But this fish I think, was your finest hour, Ron, because you didn't know the fish were here. You had to do a lot of pioneering. You had to cover a lot of water. You got stung by nettles, bitten by flies, fell down banks, crashed your rod up the tree, missed a couple of bites, and then you got that moment when everything came together. You got a great casting, you bounced that bait round really nicely, nice bite, timely strike, and the job was a good one. So I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Dad.
It's been a pleasure having you over.
It was a pleasure for me to be here.
Yeah, take
Really.
care and have a good flight back.
Thank you very much.
Can I play with my barbel now?
You can do whatever you want now.
Is this a lucky omen? Well, I've moved this fish just downriver so I can weigh him and release him in a really nice environment. It's a nice steady flow here. It's certainly a nice fish. It's a shame Ronnie's not here to see it. Never mind. Zeroed the scales in. Just let a little bit of water drain out. Just let the scales settle. Well, the lowest it's settling at is 2. It's hovering between 3, £10 3 ounces, £10 2 ounces. Let's call it £10 2. That's a beauty, isn't it, hey? Absolute beauty. Symonds Yacht can be reached by car, rail and coach. Depending on your budget, it's possible to take an internal flight to Cardiff International and hire a car from there. However, it's strongly recommended you pre-book your car before you travel. I've really enjoyed fishing with Ronnie, and I think he had a good time too. But let me tell you, I'm glad that he's on that plane and I'm standing here right now. What a result, fantastic. 1 cast, 1 barbel, £10 2. Thank you and good night.